Hi Seals, welcome back. As you see, I'm at school today, so I'm just going to record my class story from here. We are on chapter 30, and Tilly's just being collected from the underlibrary by her grandma and granddad, and she has some questions for her because Tilly's a bit confused about why she can't read The Little Princess anymore. Okay. And she's been warned to not do any more book wandering until she's learnt a few more skills. Okay, chapter 30, Fairy Tales. The next morning, Grandma woke Tilly up with a glass of orange juice and a plate of peanut butter on toast. Morning, sweetheart, she said. How are you feeling? You've had a lot to think about. You know you can come and chat to me or Grandad any time, if you want, and we'll be completely honest with you about book wandering, or your mum and dad as much as we know. Tilly gave her a bit of a wobbly smile. Or Jack and I were going to do some party planning if you wanted to join in with that for a bit. Maybe you could see if Oscar wants to come round and help too. Tilly nodded more confidently and took a big crunch of toast. A morning of day-to-day bookshop business was exactly what she wanted to give her time to think through everything that had happened yesterday. But first she had research to do. After finishing her breakfast, knowing she'd regret eating her toast in bed later, she picked up the ripped copy of A Little Princess and flipped back to the scene in the bakery. She was relieved to find she hadn't been imagining things. The story was undeniably, if unremarkably, different. There must be a reason my mum kept this one, Tilly said to herself, tucking it under her arm and to go and compare it to the other bookshop copies. She went downstairs through a warm but empty kitchen and into the shop. Jack and Grandma were clustered around one of the cafe tables, laughing and making notes. I'm going to go and find Oscar, Tilly called over as she made her way out onto the high street, which was littered with autumn leaves. But Crumbs was locked up and all the lights were off. Tilly pressed her face against the glass, but there was quite obviously no one there, and there was no note pinned to the door or any kind of explanation. She pulled out her phone and sent Oscar a text. Crumbs is closed. Are you okay? Tilly. A few minutes later she had a reply. My nanny is poorly. Mum closed shop to sort plans at home. Oscar. What's going on? T. Mum might have to go to Paris to help, or Emile might come back here for a bit. Oh. Are you going to France too? T. Not sure, maybe. Not today though. Waiting for more news. Oh. Do you want to come to the shop and help with the party? We can meet you at bus stop if your mum's worried. Oh, we'll ask. And then, after a few minutes, Kay, coming now. Mum says thanks. She will call shop and speak to Elsie or Archie. Number 81. Number 81, get off at Beach Court stop. See you soon. We have fresh donuts. Tilly dashed back into the shop. Oscar's French grandmother isn't very well, she shouted over to Grandma. Crumbs is closed. He's going to get the bus over from his flat if that's okay. Mary's going to call you. And just as she said it, the phone started ringing. Yes, of course, Mary. Yes, don't worry. We'll be there at the bus stop to meet him, I promise. Yes, Tilly has his phone number. No problem, as long as you need. Tell us if there's anything else we can do at all. Yes, speak soon. About half an hour later, Tilly got a text from Oscar that he was nearly there and Jack went with her to wait at the bus stop around the corner. An exhausted-looking Oscar arrived a few minutes later. They exchanged glances that had to replace words that couldn't be said in front of Jack. All right, mate, Jack said. Sorry to hear your mammy is poorly. Do you want to talk about it or just get on as usual? Get on as usual, Oscar said firmly. I do not want anyone making any fuss. Sure thing, Jack said. There's heaps to do around here for the party. Plenty to keep you occupied for hours. Elsie will have you cutting out decorations all day if you're not careful. Grandma waved them over to her as they arrived back at the shop. Oscar stared at all the pieces of paper littering the table. Bad sketches, lists of people and ideas, lots of empty coffee mugs. Right, team, Grandma said. On today's agenda are decorations, RSVP list, confirming food and drink. Isn't that everything? Tilly asked, and Grandma laughed. Not even close, my darling. The party is tomorrow night after all. Now, how do we feel about the decorations? Something to do with playing cards, I suppose? Well, I was thinking I could do something along the lines in the window, Jack said. Maybe try to copy one of the illustrations from the book. I'm not sure what would work best. Oscar's good at art, Tilly volunteered. No, I'm not, he said. Yes, you are. I saw your drawing the other day. Just because I like it doesn't mean I'm any good at it, Oscar said. Well, I bet you are, Tilly said. Why don't you have a doodle, see if you can come up with anything? Grandma said encouragingly, pushing a pen and some blank paper towards Oscar. We're not expecting you to be Picasso, don't worry. All ideas are useful. Look at what estate we're in. Oscar looked unconvinced but shielded the paper with his arm and started scratching. Okay, we're going to stop there. So long chapter this one, so we're going to pause there and we'll come back for the rest tomorrow. Okay, so I wonder what's going to happen. Speak to you soon. Bye.